Now at 9, Crawford County officials say hotel demand is returning to pre-pandemic levels. We'll look at the impact on the local economy. Plus, the Pittsburgh Police and Fire Department square off in a friendly competition, all for a good cause. And
more classified documents and more investigations here in Washington. I'm Caroline Shively. I'll have details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. A high-speed chase in Cherokee County, Kansas late this afternoon ends with a couple of people in custody, and part of the chase is caught on camera. Surveillance camera here at the TV station along Highway 69 showed a pickup driving west on Lawton Road, then leaving the road and cut through the grass. A couple of law officer vehicles were close behind. The truck then circled behind the TV station and took out a fence close to our broadcast tower before getting back on the highway. Law officers caught up to the truck on a road a couple miles away. The sheriff tells us 2 people were taken into custody. No word yet on the reason for that chase. A former Carl Junction police officer, previously convicted on child pornography charges, is now wanted for child sex crimes. Barton County Court issued an arrest warrant for Seth Wilkins on charges of child molestation and sexual abuse. Court documents show that Wilkins is accused of inappropriately touching a victim under the age of 12. Wilkins must register as a sex offender after a 2013 conviction. An internal Carl Junction PD investigation found evidence of the child pornographic material on Wilkins' computer. Pittsburgh area hotel room demand returns to pre-pandemic trends, hitting a record high. KOAM's Carrie Worthen has more on this story.
Since 2015, room demand had been increasing each year.
And then the pandemic hit, and of course that slowed everything way down. Construction, anything and everything just took a hit at all the hotels.
But the manager of Holidays Inn Express and Suites says,
"Oh, heck no, bring it." Busier the better. Yeah, I mean, that's our world. We love it. We want people to come here. I mean, there's a lot to do in Southeast Kansas.
Hotel room demand in Crawford County, Kansas has surpassed 100,000 rooms for the year, with 2022 hitting a record high with over 109,000 rooms.
It took us a year or so to come out of COVID, but within Pittsburgh we've had so much business, new needs for workers to come in. We've had a lot of construction. A lot of businesses are feeling very safe with sending their people back out, which is awesome.
As locals, we kind of take for granted what we have here. And one of the questions we get asked all the time is, why are all these sporting events here? Why do these meetings or these smaller conferences come here? And the reason is because we're in the middle of everywhere.
Officials say business and construction has really come back up, and with events coming up in the spring, you should book your rooms ahead of time.
Had a lot of track that'll be coming up in February and March, which really helps us out. Basketball games have started, of course. Football's awesome. I mean, who's not going to go see a gorilla?
In Pittsburgh, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
The county also surpassed 10,000 rooms in a month, 6 times during 2022. And now Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us with the first look at the weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a snowy night last night into the morning hours. Very wet snow that melted about as fast as it accumulated, with temperatures kind of hovering right around freezing. Wide range of amounts, but officially in Joplin, 2.5 inches for the season. We're at 6. Average is 13, so we're still a pretty good gap behind that mark, but I do think we'll start to really close that gap as we get through the next couple weeks. A lot of clouds across the region. We've had some random little flurries, but besides that, it's pretty quiet across Central Plains, and that's what we're going to have as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Temperatures backing down, upper 20s to near 30 degrees right now. It's been a little bit windy. We have these northwesterly winds at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, so this makes it feel a little bit colder than what it actually is. Wind chill factor is right around 20 degrees. We are tracking another storm system for the weekend. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
There was a battle in Pittsburgh today between the police and fire departments, but don't worry, it wasn't violent. The battle was to see who could make the best bowl of chili. It's part of the annual Battle of the Badges blood drive hosted by the Red Cross. People were able to come to the Frisco Event Center, donate blood, try some chili, and vote on their favorite.
You know, COVID set back everyone for about a year and a half, and we had thousands of people who were deferred. They weren't able to give blood because of having COVID, and we've had a shortage, and it's very difficult to make that up. Of course, there have been a lot of natural disasters this year.
The blood drive and chili cook-off continues tomorrow from 8:30 in the morning to 2 p.m. The winning department receives a trophy. Joplin Schools announced the new director of its Franklin Technology Center today. The district hired Casey Dorton to fill the role. Dorton started with the school district in 2006. She's worked in both teaching and administration roles, including at the Franklin Tech. Franklin Tech offers students the ability to learn technical skills to help them enter the workforce or continue on to college after high school. Lawmakers from both parties are looking for answers as more classified materials turn up in more places where they shouldn't be. With former Vice President Mike Pence's admission documents were found at his home too. Some leaders are now calling for reforms. Fox News correspondent Caroline Shively reports from Washington.
Allies of former Vice President Mike Pence are downplaying the discovery of classified documents at his house.
From the sounds of it, these boxes had been sealed and never reopened from the time they left the vice president's residence in Washington to the time that they went to the home in Indiana.
For those keeping track, unsecured classified items have now been found in former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort, President Biden's home in Delaware and former office in D.C., and now in Pence's house north of Indianapolis.
Everybody under the sun seems like can't seem to keep their fingers off of classified documents.
On Wednesday, House Democratic leadership compared the Biden and Pence cases, noting each was a small number of items handed over voluntarily, in contrast to Trump.
The former president didn't handle this appropriately and has obstructed every possible avenue.
House GOP leadership defended the former president.
The FBI has been weaponized against President Trump and clearly has covered up for sitting President Joe Biden.
The White House admits the rules on classified documents are clear. Top secret classified material is only supposed to be read in a secure room known as a SCIF.
Everybody who goes into a SCIF knows what the requirements are to go in and knows what the requirements are to go out.
We still don't know what level of classification the Biden and Pence documents were, but they've renewed a debate on Capitol Hill over the sheer volume of classified documents the government produces. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen announced another step she is taking to prevent the U.S. from defaulting on its debt. She told House Speaker Kevin McCarthy yesterday the Treasury will stop fully investing in the government securities investment fund. The thrift savings fund portion of that is part of the federal employees' retirement system. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Dwayne Spicer served in the U.S. Army from 1968 to 1969. The Webb City, Missouri native was stationed in Vietnam. We salute Specialist Dwayne Spicer, a four-state hero. Coming up, a look at some of the most dangerous places in the country.
A string of high-profile murders has experts trying to figure out how to end the violence. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with what new data says about crime trends coming up.
Several high-profile mass shootings has lawmakers searching for solutions to end the violence. Now the Secret Service is releasing a report that sheds insight into the background of mass attackers. But a new study also shows murders are more concentrated in specific areas than people think. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera breaks down the data from Washington.
A string of mass shootings has communities like Monterey Park, California, searching for answers. The Secret Service is sharing a new report about mass attackers with the intent of preventing future tragedies.
Every year we've studied, by far grievances were the top motive for these attacks.
And out of 173 mass attacks between 2016 and 2020, about 20% were motivated by extreme or hate-based views.
There is no community that's immune from this.
However, another study shows murders specifically are more concentrated in a handful of densely populated urban counties.
It's not really a U.S. problem. It's a problem of certain cities within the United States.
Data from the Crime Prevention Research Center shows 73% of murders happen in just 5% of counties. Illinois' Cook County, home to Chicago, had the highest number of recorded murders in 2020, followed by Los Angeles County and Harris County in Texas, where Houston is located. Even within these counties, murders are highly concentrated.
These murders concentrated in these tiny areas are basically drug gangs fighting against each other in order to control drug turf that's there.
The Crime Prevention Research Center says any solution must focus on these areas to reduce murder rates.
D.C. also ranks among the top 20 for the highest number of murders in the country. But the city's recent criminal code reform, which drops maximum sentences for carjacking and gun possession, has attracted critics who say it will only make crime worse. In Washington, Malta Rivera, Fox News.
Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later we'll hear from Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes on the upcoming AFC Championship rematch against the Joe Burrow-led Bengals.
Well, of course, we had the light, wet snow for us last night into the morning hours, and thankfully, it melted off pretty quickly across the region. Very wet snow, so we didn't have to worry about it sticking around for too long. Looks pretty good right now. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, temperatures for us today, they really didn't go anywhere. One, we had snow on the ground. It was melting, but you can see most of us mid to upper 30s for afternoon highs, and now it's dropping off. It's sitting at 30 in Stockton, 32 in Neosho, Seneca, 34 in Afton. We have 31 in Parsons. Chanute is sitting at 30 degrees, and most of us are going to drop back near 20 later on tonight. Northwesterly winds kicking in, and of course this makes it feel colder than what it actually is. So wind chill factor 17 Independence, Yates Center, 20 in Fort Scott, feels like 21 in Neosho, 19 in Carthage. We can go outside, 7th and Range Line sitting at 30. Northerly winds at about 10 to 15 gives us that wind chill reading of 20. Through the overnight hours, slide back through the 20s, overnight low of 21, back to 27 by 10 a.m. But we still have a lot of clouds right across the region. These are going to slowly break up for us later on tonight as this whole storm system heading away from us quickly, the eastern third of the country. Not a whole bunch going on out to the west. It's going to be fairly quiet as we go through the next couple days. Then we'll start to see some more changes moving in. All right, let's go through time tonight. Temperatures lower 20s. We do clear out later on tonight. Partly cloudy skies. Here's the noon hour. Most of us 30 to about 32. I think we'll get up to about 36-ish as we head into the afternoon. 32 in Stockton, 39 in Parsons, Nowata, up to about 39 degrees. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow night. We drop upper 20s and then rise a bit toward dawn. Southerly winds start to increase, and this is going to help us go near 50 for a high by the time Friday rolls around. So the next 2 days, not too bad. Day planner, 22 in the morning, 31 by noon, 36 during the afternoon. That should be our high, 36 or 37. It's going to stay windy tonight, but the winds will start to calm down a bit for us during the daytime hours tomorrow. Still breezy, but better than what we have seen. Then they pick up again as we go into Friday ahead of our next storm system, which will start to roll in as we go into the weekend. Rain chances increasing late Saturday. This system is mainly going to be east of us, but on the back edge, we could get a little rain-snow mix by the time we head into Saturday night, so we'll keep our eyes on that. 36 tomorrow, 49 on Friday, 50 on Saturday, and then a high of only 32 on Sunday. 31 Monday, wintry mix again, Tuesday, Wednesday, into Thursday with our next storm system for next week.
Yeah, time to crank up the 4-state weather roller coaster once again.
Yeah, it's going up and down for sure.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Doug. Yep. Coming up, gyms are starting 23 off on the right foot.
New data finds gym attendance is making a pandemic comeback. I'm Jackie Ibanez with a look at the rebound, plus why health coaching may become this year's hottest trend. All straight ahead.
Fentanyl deaths are now rising faster among children than any other age group, and the numbers are alarming. Fox News correspondent Brian Yanes takes a look.
And that's her heartbeat that they recorded before she passed.
Serenity Murfin was just 17 months old when she died after her grandmother says the toddler put tinfoil laced with fentanyl in her mouth.
There were paramedics already working to get her to breathe. And my grandson was standing there screaming, "Nana, Nana, Nana." My heart just dropped as I watched them work on my granddaughter.
A shocking new study from the nonprofit Families Against Fentanyl shows child fentanyl deaths are rising faster than any other age group. Deaths among children age 14 and under are 15 times higher than they were in 2015, rising from 10 to 153 deaths. In just the last 2 years, fentanyl deaths quadrupled among infants and children ages 5 to 14.
He was one of the most genuine and loving people I've ever known in my life.
13-year-old Luca Manuel died from fentanyl poisoning in 2020 after he purchased counterfeit Percocet from a dealer on Snapchat. Now, both Luca and Serenity's families are sharing their pain to save lives.
This can absolutely happen to anyone. Please be open and honest with your children about drug use.
Our children are our future, and if we don't do something, who's going to?
Families Against Fentanyl is calling for President Biden to establish a White House task force dedicated to the fentanyl crisis and to designate the synthetic opioid a weapon of mass destruction. In New York, Brian Yanes, Fox News.
Losing weight now could help you stay stronger later in life. Researchers in Norway say that those who struggle with obesity during middle age are twice as likely to become frail as an older adult than those who stay more trim. They say those who struggled with their weight during the middle of the life were more prone to falls, being admitted to the hospital, disability, a reduced quality of life, and a higher risk of death. After suffering years of decreased foot traffic during the height of the pandemic, new data shows fitness studios are now seeing increased attendance. This comes as public health professionals discuss why health coaching may become a growing trend throughout 2023. Fox News correspondent Jackie Ibanez reports.
Fitness centers fought for survival during the height of the pandemic. Ultimately, data from the National Health and Fitness Alliance finds 25% of U.S. health clubs permanently closed since the start of the pandemic. But new statistics from foot traffic analysis company Placer.ai finds attendance at gyms is steadily bouncing back. Still down by 3% from 2019, but up 40% from 2021. Meanwhile, as fitness centers try and keep the momentum going, public health professionals like Carol Kennedy Armbruster of Indiana University believe health coaching may also become a growing trend this year.
So many of our health problems are multidimensional. I think really the most important thing that we need to do is to figure out how we can make our own changes.
Health coaching is about implementing lifestyle changes that go beyond getting into shape, focusing on the social, emotional, and physical aspects of health.
A lot of people think, I'm going to get a personal trainer who's going to tell me exactly what to do. That is not a health coach. A health coach is someone that digs deep within what you want and helps you solve your problem so you don't need them.
If hiring a health coach isn't in your budget, professionals recommend involving trusted friends and family in your goals so you have a close support team you can count on. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
Up next, we'll learn how NASA is looking to use nuclear power to maybe one day get humans to Mars. Nuclear power could help transport humans to Mars one day. NASA is working with an arm of the Defense Department to develop a nuclear thermal rocket engine. The Space Agency and the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency want to create an engine that would rely on a nuclear reactor to provide the thrust needed to propel a rocket through space. They tried to develop this type of technology before, but the program stalled. Now the Space Agency said their first test could happen as soon as 2027. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Students at Pitt State raise awareness of human trafficking with the documentary screening. Plus,
The U.S. and Germany both announcing new shipments of tanks to Ukraine as officials here in Kyiv say they need them as soon as possible. In Kyiv, Ukraine, I'm Alex Hogan. I'll have more on this story coming up.
In recognition of Human Trafficking Awareness Month, a student organization hosted a viewing event. KOAM Shagun Bamdali was there and has more.
The organization Students for Violence Prevention at Pittsburgh State University, in partnership with Southeast Kansas Women Intersectional Network, hosted a screening of a movie called Surviving Sex Trafficking, which highlights people who survived human trafficking.
Incredible event that PSU is putting on that is really talking about violence against women and also talking about trafficking and the importance of how we as a community can come together to make sure that these kinds of issues are not going unnoticed.
Caroline says anybody could be targeted.
Often it's your sister, my granddaughter, it can be a brother, it can be the face of anyone that is being trafficked with force, fraud, or coercion, anything in exchange for profit with regards to labor, domestic servitude, and sex trafficking.
2 local police detectives say human trafficking cuts across both genders and people should speak up.
You see somebody that's showing up with bruises, that's showing up later than they usually would be. Your friend that was always on time is now late all the time. Ask questions. And if you're afraid to ask questions, find somebody who isn't.
It's not specific to one gender or the other. It's not specific to a certain age. It's not specific to a certain race or any specific demographic. We know that it's underreported in men. We know that it's underreported in a lot of minority groups.
A representative from Safe House says people need a safe space.
And so having that resource available to anybody who may be going through a particularly dangerous or violent situation is just sometimes the only thing that people need in order to get out.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Shagun Bamdali, KOAM News.
A Q&A session with representatives of Rise Coalition, Safe House Crisis Center, and the Pittsburgh Police Department was held after the movie. Bourbon County, Kansas officials today held a public meeting to discuss the results of a recent housing study. The study was done by Bourbon County Ready and showed there is a lack of developers in the county, as well as a lack of available housing. At today's meeting, residents were able to ask questions about the study and how commissioners would like to see the county grow moving forward.
We could work with property owners and builders, real estate people, investors that could invest, and hopefully the government can play a role in helping getting the property with a so many year payback or something, just as an incentive for property owners to get started.
Commissioners are looking into state and federal grants to spur housing development. The Missouri Public Service Commission granted Spire the request to provide natural gas service in and around the city of Oronogo, Missouri. The commission also approved Spire's request to acquire the natural gas assets of the city. Residents of Oronogo approved the sale in November 2021. Oronogo currently provides natural gas service to about 334 customers. The Federal Trade Commission has ordered Credit Karma to pay $3 million for misleading customers. The agency alleges the personal finance company used so-called pre-approvals to deceive customers into applying for credit cards and products they were not eligible for. A new coalition is forming with the goal of getting hundreds of tanks to Ukraine as soon as possible as the Russian offensive ramps up in the east. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan has more from Kyiv, Ukraine.
That's what this is about, helping Ukraine defend and protect Ukrainian land.
President Biden making it official today. The U.S. will send 31 Abrams battle tanks to Ukraine to help push back a Russian offensive. It's a reversal of a previous decision. The Pentagon had said the Abrams tanks were not a good fit for the Ukrainian military because they require extensive training and maintenance. Details are currently being worked out between Washington and Kyiv.
We'll begin to train the Ukrainian troops on these issues of sustainment, logistics, and maintenance as soon as possible. Delivering these tanks to the field is going to take time.
The announcement came just hours after Germany said it would supply Ukraine with Leopard battle tanks. A number of other Western allies also sending Leopards, including Poland and Finland. But with the Russian offensive moving deeper into eastern Ukraine, some here are worried the initial shipment might not get here on time or in big enough numbers to turn the tide.
We need more than 20 tanks because in comparing, Russians have much more weapon systems and much more tanks.
Moscow says that today's announcement will not make a difference, and any American tanks sent to Ukraine will, quote, burn. There are also signs Russia is planning a new offensive, with Vladimir Putin doubling down on his justification for the war.
The aim is to protect Russia from the threats that are created on the territories that are historically ours.
Germany says its tanks should arrive within a matter of 3 months. There's still no word on when American tanks would arrive here in Ukraine. In Kyiv, Ukraine, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Pope Francis criticized laws that criminalize homosexuality as unjust, saying God loves all his children just as they are, and called on Catholic bishops who support the laws to welcome LGBTQ people into the church. Some U.S. states, including Kansas and Oklahoma, still have anti-sodomy laws on the books despite a 2003 Supreme Court ruling they are unconstitutional. A bit later, a high-tech way to treat stroke patients.
The FDA has officially cleared an exoskeleton device for use in stroke rehabilitation. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. Those details coming up.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a very nice day for us today after we got rid of the snow because it melted right away, and that's pretty good. We get a nice little snowfall, a couple inches, and then it melts a few hours later. Then you don't have to really deal with it. Now the roads are still kind of dirty out there. The salt, probably want to wash the car sometime over the next day or two. We do have another storm system which is going to roll in by the time we head into the weekend. Now it was cold, but it's also January. 35 is where we topped out in Lamar, 41 in Bonita. We had Parsons make it up to about 37. Now it's even colder. It's going to be a cold night. It's a little windy as well, upper 20s to near 30 degrees. So bundle up if you are going to be out tonight into the morning hours for us tomorrow. All right, northwesterly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. What stinks about this is it gives you a wind chill, so it makes it feel colder than what it is. It feels like 18 in Fort Scott, 20 in Carthage, 21 in Grove. Feels like 20 in Parsons. 7th and Rangeline. Not much in the way of snow is left after temperatures sat into the 30s all day. Northerly winds at 14, so that gives us a wind chill of 20 degrees. All right, through the night, slide back through the lower 20s. Overnight low of 21 degrees. We do have the clouds still in place, but these are going to be breaking up as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. Our whole storm system that rolled through, this is out of here, pushing across the eastern seaboard, heading away from us. If we go back toward the west, not a whole bunch going on. That's our weather as we go through the next couple days, and then we'll start to see some changes once again as we head into the weekend. All right, cold tonight. Tomorrow, not bad, still cold. We're going to start with partly sunny skies. We should make it up to about 35 or 36 for afternoon highs. Tomorrow night, we dip into the upper 20s, and then southerly winds start to increase. And what that's going to do is allow our temperatures on Friday afternoon to approach 50 during the afternoon. So that's actually pretty nice. So next 2 days we can take. Cold start, 31 by noon, high 36 for us tomorrow. We tack on about 15 on our highs for Friday. Yes, the winds are going to stick around tonight. Here's our wind gusts, 20 to 25. They back down for us by tomorrow afternoon, but then they increase again as we go into Friday ahead of that next storm system. Now, this system mainly develops on and just east of the region. You can see snow up toward Kansas City. For us, it looks like showers, but as that colder air filters in, we could get a little bit of snow on the backside as this passes through Saturday night and into Sunday morning. All right, let's go 36 tomorrow, 49 on Friday, 50 Saturday. High temp of only 32 on Sunday. Another chance for a wintry mix next Tuesday, and then again late Wednesday into Thursday. So we stay pretty active through the period.
Yeah, no doubt. And then you had talked about the snow melting. So I look outside my front window, nothing. But then I look in my backyard, completely covered in snow.
Yeah.
So it was pretty funny to see that.
Yeah, it melted pretty quick.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Doug. Coming up in sports, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes talks about the upcoming matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals. Plus, a Girard High School basketball standout signed to continue her career at the collegiate level. Girard High School senior Emmeline Sinnecott signs today to continue her basketball career at Bethany College. Sinnecott is a three-sport standout for the Trojans. She's currently averaging 11 points and 7 rebounds per game for the basketball team and has earned all-conference honors in both volleyball and softball.
I'm so excited. I'm sure I'm going to end up missing all of them, but I'm so excited and it'll just be almost relaxing to only worry about one. My teammates and my coaches are so supportive. I've had amazing teammates all through my life and amazing coaches all through my life, and it's just been awesome to have that support system behind me.
The Kansas City Chiefs are looking ahead to their AFC Championship game against the Cincinnati Bengals following the Chiefs' win over the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-20. Despite Mahomes' high ankle injury, he still threw only 8 incompletions for 2 touchdowns, 0 picks, and 195 yards with a passer rating over 112. On the other side of things, the Cincinnati Bengals had a dominant performance against the Buffalo Bills. The Bengals have had the Chiefs' number as of late, winning all 3 of their matchups last year. Here's Mahomes on coming into the AFC Championship labeled as underdogs.
I mean, every time I walk on that field, I don't think I'm an underdog, especially when I walk on Arrowhead's field. So I just go in with the same mindset of we're going to have to play our best football to win. We know we're playing a great football team that's beat us the last 3 times. And so we have to learn from our mistakes in the past and be better in order to win against a great football team.
The Chiefs play in Arrowhead on Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Mahomes is selected as one of the finalists for the Associated Press 2022 NFL Most Valuable Player and Offensive Player of the Year awards. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts and Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson were also selected, with Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow and Bills quarterback Josh Allen rounding out the MVP finalists. Mahomes has helped Kansas City go 14-3 to earn the #1 seed in the AFC. He led the NFL with 5,250 yards passing and 41 touchdowns. And he also received 49 of 50 votes for the AP First Team All-Pro. Educators in Missouri are using the Chiefs' on-field success as a way to motivate kids. Matt Evans reports.
Welcome to the
These are students at Santa Fe Trail Elementary School performing Red Kingdom by Tech 9 as part of their PE class. It's called Drum Fit, and it's a great cardio exercise, and the kids hardly even know it because they're having so much fun. For the kids and the teachers at this school, they say incorporating the Chiefs into their lesson plans just makes the day a lot more fun.
I think Chiefs is going to win the championship, and school is the best.
So when I have them, I try to engage them as much as possible, get them to soak in as much information as possible. So if they're more eager to learn it, they're going to absorb it so much better. And if the Chiefs are what does it, then heck yeah, I'm all for it.
Like the ones that were really hard too, like we'd have to focus.
Educators are using the Chiefs' energy elsewhere too, including holding Spirit Weeks at several schools. Well, that's it for sports. We'll be back with more after this. Strokes impact hundreds of thousands of Americans every year and can cause decreases in mobility and bodily functions. Now, the FDA has cleared a high-tech exoskeleton device they hope will help stroke survivors during their rehabilitation process. Fox News correspondent Laura Blanchard takes a closer look.
A self-balancing exoskeleton suit could provide relief for stroke victims. The Food and Drug Administration has cleared the device from French-based company Wondercraft for use in stroke rehabilitation. According to data from the CDC, someone in the U.S. has a stroke every 40 seconds, with nearly 800,000 people nationwide experiencing a stroke every year. Strokes are also a leading cause of critical long-term disabilities, including a reduction in mobility. Officials behind the exoskeleton say their technology can help people struggling to walk or stand regain their freedom. Additionally, the device lets users move in multiple directions, hands-free.
Wheelchairs are an anomaly. Men, women, human beings are meant to be upright. That's really important for them, for their health, for their well-being. Right now, I'm looking at you at eye level, and that's because we're standing. That's the first thing to give back to people.
While federal officials in the U.S. cleared it for stroke rehab overseas, the device has already been helping people who lost their mobility from a wide range of other incidents.
I had a motorbike accident that broke my spine and made me paraplegic.
So far, the exoskeleton has been sold to hospitals in the U.S., France, and Luxembourg. It costs around $220,000. Engineers at Wandercraft are striving to make their exoskeleton lighter so it can be sold in the future to the general public for everyday use. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Coming up, we'll check out what new movies are heading to theaters this weekend. Love is in the air with a couple of rom-coms this week, as well as thrillers, an intense horror movie, and a star-filled comedy. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
So, why haven't we met these people?
New in theaters this week is Maybe I Do with Diane Keaton, Emma Roberts, Richard Gere, and Susan Sarandon amongst its star-filled cast. The rom-com is about a couple looking to get married, but when it comes time to meet the parents, it turns out they've already met. In the movie Aurora, a love story, a couple is set to get married when the bride mysteriously disappears, setting off a chain of events revealing secrets and betrayal threatening to destroy their relationship.
One day, let's mix things up a bit.
Horror flick Infinity Pool with Alexander Skarsgård and Mia Goth follows couples whose trips take a horror-filled twist when they face a crime and can either be executed or pay to watch it happen to a double of themselves.
I'll be willing to give you a pandemic discount.
In theaters and on demand is Life Upside Down, led by Bob Odenkirk, set at the beginning of lockdown with three couples forced to face their significant others, friends, and themselves.
Cheers, everybody!
On Prime Video, Jennifer Lopez and Josh Duhamel lead Shotgun Wedding, with Jennifer Coolidge and Lenny Kravitz also on the guest list for a destination wedding taken hostage and the happy couple left to save the day.
I'm gonna ask her to marry me.
On Netflix is You People with Jonah Hill, Lauren London, Eddie Murphy, Nia Long, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and David Duchovny in a comedy about a rideshare mix-up turned love story tested by their respective families. And Elvis is back in theaters for a special limited engagement. The film was just nominated for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
I guess the theme for this weekend's movies is couples? Well, that's our time for tonight, and thank you all so much for joining us. But before you go, we'll leave you with a video of Fiona the hippo celebrating her 6th birthday at the Cincinnati Zoo. Be safe, and we'll do this all again tomorrow. See you then.